Okay, here is my computer with the code that we had the snippet on the board with. So again, this is Eclipse. This is a piece of free software that you can download. You can run it on a PC or a Mac. So here I went ahead and typed out my full class information. So I have the definition of my variable. I assign it a float characteristic. This can be an integer, it can be a string, it can be a character. A float value is a decimal value, so I can have 1.2 or 1.234 depending on the amount of precision I want. I can also have an integer. An integer value is a whole number, so it has to be 1. It cannot be 1.0 or 1 point something else. It has to be a whole number of 1. So again, pay attention to math class. They tell you the difference between integer values and decimal values, and then also real numbers and imaginary numbers. Those are all variable states within the Java programming language, and also C# in the Microsoft.NET. Here I've got a while loop. Again, IT coding is a force multiplier. You want to be able to do something over and over again. So you want to count while the lights are on, or while the vehicle is driving down the road, or while you still have money to pay out to your benefit recipients. And here is an if or condition statement. I want to verify or check to see if my count, my variable, is less than 2. If it's less than 2, not equal to 2, but less than 2, then I do the system.out.println function. This method will then throw out this message that I've got typed in using quotes, and then I append the variable count onto the end of the statement, terminate with my semicolon, and then I increment my counter by doing count plus plus. As a coder, we do not like to type out a bunch of letters and words and stuff. So this is kind of a shorthand method to take my variable and then add 1 to it. So if this condition evaluates true, it does this. If this condition evaluates false, which is Boolean type of variables, it comes down here and does this count. So I do another system out, and then it shows what my count is set to. Again, I have to increment my count. If I don't increment my count, this loop will run on forever, and we don't want that because it goes into an infinite loop. So you try to count to infinity, you'll never reach it. So here I've got another condition to see if my count is greater than 10. Here I'm only doing my while up to 11. So if it's greater than 10, I've processed all of my widgets, and then I want to throw out this statement here. It says last line, make it formatted, and I've got these crazy characters right there. That's what I love about programming. You see the crazy characters. Let me see and zoom in on that. Let's see, right there. Those are the crazy characters. That's a formatting argument for the method of format, string.format. And then here I do the system out, and you see I changed it to last line, which I set this last line value as a string. I could also set it as a float because I'm doing decimal numbers, but a string shows decimals and numbers. So you can have different variable types within your application. So if we want to run this thing, we can come up here, a green button. I'm going to run my do while loop, and look there at the bottom. It popped out a bunch of information, and here we see this is the first line of my loop, and it should be set to 1.0 because it's a float, it's a decimal value. It shows the decimal value. And then down here, I've got 2 through 10, and again, they're all decimals. And then to look at that crazy formatting, I've got 11 and 9 zeros. Now if we look back up at our function up here, we have this percent, our decimal, and then 9 floating places, and then this n puts a new line after the end of it, so that it doesn't do a bunch of crazy characters at the end of it on the same line. So down here, our human brain will recognize it as 11.000000009 times out. But the computer sees this as 11.00000. So this uses an interpreter. So here's just a piece of code, and there's all kinds of things going on. So learning about setting your variables, doing your loops, your condition statements, and how to evaluate your variables to different conditions. Again, I could put a greater than, lesser than, or even an equals in here to evaluate the statement. So this changes the logic greatly when you think about it. Is it less than or equal to 2? So we can evaluate things differently. So it's in these conditions you have to be very meticulous and test it quite a bit to make sure that you're getting your expected results. So hopefully that answers a lot of your questions about what coding is all about and what career opportunities and what coding looks like here to us professional coders. So thanks for your questions. It was a pleasure, Kari. I wish you all the luck on your assignment, and you should get an A plus 10% bonus credit. I'll talk to you later. Thanks. Bye.